Moore Law is underwritten in the public interest by the Moore Law Firm, a legal professional association. This is Moore Law on Fox 19.
Welcome to Moore Law, where today we'll be talking about personal injury. If you've been hurt, there are a lot of things you need to know about your rights, about whether you need a lawyer's help, and what kind of time limits you're dealing with. The phone lines are open now. If you've been injured and you don't know what to do, give us a call at 513-421-4691. Here with me again on Monday, Dan Moore. How are you?
I'm doing fine, Deb. How you doing this morning?
Very good, thanks. Nice to see you here again.
Yeah, you too. I heard you had a little bit of excitement this weekend, huh?
Oh, Dan. No, I lost my children in a parking lot, and they had gone into the store and I didn't know it, and so I was running to various cars and this big white van as they were leaving, and I was chasing the cars trying to find my kids.
Big white panel vans around kids is not something that give you a lot of comfort.
White van, and I apologize to all the people I stopped on their way out of the Lowe's parking lot.
Well,
thanks for that, Dan.
No problem. I know we wanted to talk about something good this morning.
Thank you.
We have a great guest this morning, Brett Goodson. How you doing, Brett?
Good. Thanks.
One of our repeat guests.
Yes, that's exactly right. And
Thanks. Glad to be back.
For our viewers, Brett's been practicing for 34 years. Is that right,
yes.
Brett? And he's been doing personal injury that entire time. He's somebody that really knows a lot about this area, so we're going to have a good discussion this morning.
Okay, sounds good. And Brett, you thought it was important for the viewers to know that a lot of time when people hear personal injury, they just think auto accident.
Right.
But it's so much broader than that.
It is. It can be anything from a fall. That's a pretty common injury case that we see. We can see any kinds of injuries that occur at a workplace. Sometimes they're caused by your employer. Sometimes it's by a third party. Sometimes people get injured at a ski area. You know, any number of things can happen, and explosions. We see it all.
Okay. All right. Well, let's see what we're going to start with. We'll start with Dolores in Cincinnati. Dolores, I understand you were injured at work, and then eventually were let go from your job.
Yes, I was.
Okay. Tell us a little bit more about it.
I was injured at work. I had surgery. I was off from work for about 4 weeks. Come back in light duty, and then I was dismissed.
Did you have a workers' comp lawyer help you with your workers' comp claim?
Yes, I did.
Okay, and have you talked to that lawyer about the reason for your dismissal, or have them look into it for you?
Yes, I have, but everyone that I talked to said if they didn't have any light duty for me, they had the right to dismiss me. But when they dismissed me, they said my 120 days of light duty was over with.
Okay, but you did have a workers' comp claim, and you are eligible to go back to work now. Is that what you're saying?
No, they fired me.
Okay, but I mean, you could go back to work now full time.
No, they fired me.
All right,
But,
I understand
I mean,
that.
at a different job, or right. you would be physically able to.
No, the doctor said that I'm to do light duty indefinitely.
Well, if you've got an attorney that's helping you with a workers' comp claim, he should be able to help you with that, because there's no easy solution for your situation, and you know, I don't believe that you should be able to be. You might not have a job to go back to right now, but maybe when you are well and able to go back full time, you can do that.
Well, and one of the things to remember with the workers' comp, and some people don't know this, is it sounds intuitive, but you can't be fired for having an injury. So they have to, if you get injured at work, they can't say, well, since you can't work because you were injured at work, we're going to fire you. They're not allowed doing that. They have to make some reasonable accommodation, and there's some rules that apply to that. And I think Brett was alluding to some of those, but that's a key rule that people should remember.
Well, we say they can't do that, but do they sometimes do it?
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. Probably the more accurate thing to say is it's against the law for them to do that. People do things that are against the law all the time. And if that happens to somebody, then what they need to do is contact a lawyer and see what they can remedy that situation with.
Okay. Let's head to another call. I think we have Larry in Clifton. Good morning, Larry.
Good morning.
Go ahead with your question.
Question is, June of last year, my wife was injured in an auto accident, and she had been paid for the damages to the vehicle, and she has went probably to the chiropractor about 25 times. And she no longer is going. She's better. We were just curious of what type of compensation she should be should receive for her injuries.
Well, I can
Go ahead, Brett.
She's entitled to compensation to have her medical expenses paid, certainly, and for the pain and suffering that she's been through. If she has any permanent injury, she's entitled to compensation for that too. But what you have to keep in mind, did the accident occur in Ohio?
Yes.
Well, you've got 2 years before you have to file suit or lose the claim. So if it happened last June, you've got over a year left. You should be contacting the insurance company now or getting an attorney to help you present your injury claim.
Dan, did you want to follow up on that?
Well, I think the thing to remember is that there's also some other elements there, like lost wages, that you can claim too. And really, you've got to get all that stuff together at the same time. Brett's given real good advice about what's included there. But you want to package that stuff together and send it to the insurance company so that they can evaluate everything at the same time. You don't want to piecemeal it into them because they're going to have lots of excuses on how they can delay your claim longer. You want to get it together and get it to them.
You don't need them to have any more excuses.
Right.
All right. We're going to take a break. We'll be right back talking about personal injury. Give us a call, 513-421-4691.
Welcome back to More Law on Fox 19, your legal questions live, with local broadcaster and award-winning reporter Deb Haas and Cincinnati personal injury attorney Don Moore, recognized by Ohio super lawyers. More answers, more help, more law on Fox 19.
Welcome back to More Law. Actually, Dan Moore is here with us today.
That's right.
Thank you for your time.
Good to be here, as always.
And Brett Goodson joined us again. Thank you very much.
Thanks.
All right. Let us head back to the phones here. We want to go to Jim in St. Leon. Good morning, Jim.
Morning.
And you were calling. You were hurt at work or in a car accident, I understand.
I was hurt in a car accident.
Okay.
I was hit on my side of the car. Basically, I've just had some issues come up several, probably a week or two after the accident. I'm just wondering if I really need to get a lawyer because the insurance company's kind of pressuring me to settle.
Jim, did this crash happen in Indiana?
No, it happened in Cincinnati.
Okay. And so what was the date of this crash?
Like the 14th of December.
Okay. This is one of those cases where if you have an insurance company pushing you to settle, what you want to do is take your time in recovering. This happens so often when you've got an injury. An insurance company's trying to push you because they want it off their desk. They want to be done with it. And you want to make sure you're fully recovered. You've got 2 years in Ohio before you have to file suit or before you have to settle your claim. And if you do it before that 2-year time period, you get to see really where you're going and where you are going to be physically for a long period of time. You get to talk to your doctors. So don't let that insurance company push you to settle. I would recommend that you give your body some time to recover. Figure out where you're going to be, talk to your doctors before you even talk about settling with the insurance company.
What happens though? I mean, if he waits 2 years and all those medical bills are piling up and the insurance company's offering, it seems like it would be really tempting to take a settlement.
Yeah, there's a realistic dynamic that occurs there, a practical dynamic, that if you're off work or you need money and this is a way to cover the medical bills or cover your house payment or something, I really try to convince people not to do that. What you want to do is put your health first and foremost, and you don't want to prejudice your rights. You don't want to shortchange yourself. So I try to tell people, hang in there and let's see where you're going to be in the end.
Okay.
Dan, the other thing, just real quick, if you have medical payments coverage on your insurance policy, that can help bridge that gap.
Right.
Most people have some kind of med pay coverage. Even if they don't have health insurance, they might have $1,000 or $5,000 that can be used to pay those bills, and then be able to wait, like Dan said, to see how they're doing and before they try to settle the case.
And you mentioned health insurance. That's another thing I forgot to mention too. Is the health insurance is a big deal. If you got health insurance, don't hold that back from the hospital or the doctors or the chiropractor, whoever you're seeing. Submit that to them as well.
Okay. All right, great. We have another call from Indiana now. Let's see. Chris in Indiana, you were injured at work.
Yes, I was.
Okay, tell us a little bit about what happened then.
Well, I injured my wrist there at work, and I I've been off work since October 22nd. I got hurt on the job, and then later had medical conditions and stuff, you know. And my regular physician put me off work for the while, and that meantime, before my physician had let me go to return back to work, I was let go. I went try to file for unemployment, and I'm receiving no pay. And my question is, you know, I'm getting turned down for this and that, you know, workman's comp and unemployment. What should I do?
What would be the recourse for Chris?
Well,
Any thoughts?
Yes, if you're hurt on the job, I mean, and they certainly should be paying your medical bills and paying your lost wages through the workers' comp system. Do you know why you were turned down for workers' comp?
Because they put me on light duty, with being able to work, you know, but they let me go. I'm wearing a wrist splint now, and I can't go out and find another job and perform 100%, so no one's looking at me to hire me. So.
Well, you should still make your workers' comp claim. You should get an attorney to help you with that and get a workers' comp claim filed. If you were hurt on the job, there's no reason for you not to be covered, at least until you're able to go back to work full time. Yeah.
Now, how would that work as far as if you would go out and hire a lawyer? How are those folks paid?
Generally, they're paid out of whatever they're able to recover for the...
so it's a contingency, so I don't have to...
It's a little different. Workers' comp's a little different, but yes, generally a workers' comp lawyer will do it without charging any money until they're able to recover something. That's correct.
And a lot of times it's a third.
Okay.
So if they get a lump sum recovery, or actually if it's a payment, a graduated payment over time, they often take a third of each payment too.
But again, when we talk to some of these folks about, you know, these are obviously things that have happened either a couple months or a year or so ago. What are the limitations?
Statute of limitations and time limits? Mm-hmm. Well, generally, Ohio auto accidents are 2 years. Generally, Indiana auto accidents are 2 years. Generally, Kentucky auto accidents are 2 years. But you got to be careful. In Kentucky, if you have a slip and fall case or you're injured on the job by a third party and it's not an auto case, then it's a 1 year statute of limitations. Tennessee is a 1 year statute of limitations. I tell people, regardless of where you live, you've probably got 1 year to file your claim. Workers' comp's a little different. You need to get that claim filed pretty quickly. I mean, if you're going to try to make a workers' comp claim and try to get your medicals paid, you really can't wait, right? Because you need to pay right now. And
there's no extension, right? If somebody comes into your office the day after that time limit.
Kentucky has a unique thing where it can be complicated calculating the statute of limitations related to a car crash. Generally, it's 2 years, but you can extend that 2 years from the date of the last. It's called a PIP payment, or personal injury protection. And so that can be longer than 2 years after the crash. So you can, in some cases in Kentucky, you can save your claim if they come into 2 years right after the crash. But not a good thing to wait.
Right, you just don't want to wait.
That's the key thing that people should remember.
Okay, all right. We're going to take a break. We'll be right back talking about personal injury. 513-421-4691.